Well, good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour à tout le monde. First of all, I want to thank Lynn Dolan, your outgoing AMO president. Lynn, you have done such tremendous work over the last 2 years. You should be congratulated on how you've advanced the municipal cause. It's been such a pleasure to work with you. And to Mayor Jamie McGarvey from beautiful Parry Sound, the incoming AMO president, I look forward to working with you. And I know that you prioritize the municipal sector and value all that you can provide with our relationship between the province. So congratulations to you, and again, I look forward to working with you. Folks, it's great to be here. I want to thank you for the warm welcome that I've received. Je suis très content d'être ici. Et je veux vous remercier de l'accueil chaleureux. Of course, I'm very proud to be here as minister and as part of a very strong team of Premier Doug Ford. Our team represents all regions of the provinces, from communities big and small, and from urban and rural municipalities. And I'm really glad that so many of my cabinet colleagues are here with me today. A few weeks ago, I was meeting with my deputy, Laurie LeBlanc, and I told her I wanted to set a record for the most cabinet ministers ever to attend the AMO conference. And then Laurie smiled at me, and I'm getting used to this smile that Laurie gives me, because she wanted to point out to me that was going to be pretty hard, because Premier Ford's cabinet is one of the smallest that we've had in the province of Ontario in the past 50 years. I'd like to also take this opportunity to acknowledge my two parliamentary assistants, and I want to ask them both to stand, because I believe these are two people you really need to get to know. So Christine Hogarth is my, keep standing, Christine. Christine Hogarth is my parliamentary assistant for housing. She worked as an executive assistant for one of the municipal councillors representing Etobicoke Centre, and she was chief of staff to the mayor of Greater Sudbury. Jim, stand up, Jim. Come on, Jim. Stand up, Jim. Jim McDonnell is my parliamentary assistant for municipal affairs, and Jim entered public life as a councillor for the township of South Glengarry, and then he was elected mayor in the next municipal election. Both my parliamentary assistants, they're outstanding. And they're going to be working hard for you just as hard as I am. So thank you for all your work, and I have worked you hard over the last couple of days. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to believe that it's been almost 30 years since I was here as AMO president. The year I was AMO president, it was our association's 90th anniversary. It was a great honor to serve, and it gave me an opportunity to build relationships that have really stood the test of time. But I have to say, it's pretty sweet being back to AMO as Ontario's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Thank you. So as some of you know, I entered public life, as Lynn said, in the capacity of mayor of the beautiful city of Brockville. Oh, there's that. I thought my wife got rid of all those magazines in the basement of our house. So yes, there I am in all my splendor, and that whatever that is on top of my head. So, and later on, as Lynn mentioned, I served not just as mayor of Brockville, but later on I served as the chief administrative officer in the township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands in my beautiful riding. So I know what it's like to sit in your chair, and I know the need to hear from you to help shape government policy. And I've started meeting with delegations, as most of you know, on Sunday. I've already learned a lot. And my ministry received a total of 79 requests for meetings. And you know what? I was pretty happy. I thought that was pretty impressive, until I was told that Minister Monty McNaughton, the Minister of Infrastructure, had 93. So Monty, you blew by my 79 pretty quick. So. But I really want to stress that it's been a great opportunity to meet with municipal leaders across the province. I do firmly believe that it's critical for me to do a good job as minister with that consultation and that opportunity to hear from you. It's going to be a very interesting time in Ontario for an AMO conference. We've just had a provincial election. We're getting ready to have a municipal election. I want to say to those that aren't running again, I want to thank you very sincerely for your dedication to your local municipality in the province of Ontario. I know very well the sacrifice that it's caused yourself and your family. That's right, you deserve a round of applause. And for those that are running again, I wish you very well and wish you all the best in the election. And a few of you have asked me to let you know what I heard on the campaign trail, and I'm happy to share because I think you're going to hear it too. And what I heard was about respecting taxpayers' dollars. That was the key. It's their money, they work hard for it, and they don't want it to be wasted. As minister, I'm taking what I heard on the campaign trail to heart and working with my cabinet colleagues to implement our government's agenda for the people. In the throne speech, we signaled that Ontario is open for business. By lowering taxes, reducing the regulatory burden, and making life easier for entrepreneurs, we can create more jobs, increase prosperity in your communities. We intend to work with municipalities, urban and rural, on these important matters. You are the government closest to the people. You have the pulse of your community. You know the concerns in your neighborhoods. I'm also aware of the priorities that AMO set out during the throne speech, and I'm looking forward to working with your association on those priorities. And I think, quite frankly, we're already seeing some results. For example, on the Police Services Act, one of the first things Premier Ford did was to commit to fix Bill 175 and consult with a variety of stakeholders. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So here's a fun fact on the police side. My home community of Brockville has the oldest municipal police force in Ontario. It was actually founded 30 years before Confederation. So I know how important policing is, and I know those consultations need to take place, and they need to take place including municipalities. Speaking of consultation, I know you were watching closely as our government announced the framework for opening a tightly regulated private retail model for cannabis by April the 1st. I'm pleased we've made consultation the cornerstone of our next steps, and we're demonstrating we've listened to AMO already on those recommendations that are being brought forward. As you've heard, our government will provide municipalities with $40 million over the next 2 years to help with enforcement costs. We've also proposed to give every municipality a window to opt out of allowing physical, private cannabis retail within their boundaries. Our consultation with municipalities, businesses, public health groups, First Nations, and law enforcement will continue because we need to determine how to protect youth and children and how to protect against the illegal market. As minister, I want to take the opportunity to highlight some of my key priorities. These are things we will work on together, and I will need your advice and help. First, we want to cut red tape. That includes shortening development approval timelines so we can unlock development while saving time, money, and protecting health and safety. Second, we need to increase housing supply. This means getting several ministries, not just mine, to work together. As a government, we shouldn't be standing in the way. We should be doing everything we can to help. Third, I'll wait till you thank you for the second. If you like the second, you're going to like the third. Third, I know the government asks you for way too many reports. Some of them are unnecessary. They take too much time, and they ask for the same information over and over and over again. You know what, I can't even count the number of times I've heard about this in the last few days, whether it was a delegation in Woolwich or Hornpain or in London or in Kitchener or in Lynn Dolan's speech or in the hallways at the Shaw Centre. Believe me, I've heard municipalities are spending too much time filling out unnecessary reports. That's why I'm going to start a mission to end this bureaucratic gridlock, not just by my ministry, but by every ministry. This is going to allow you to focus on matters most, which are providing great public services for your residents. And fourth, we're going to conduct a review of regional government. The current model has been in place for over 50 years, and regional governments have changed. Our goal is to ensure that local governments are working well and supporting the future economic prosperity of your residents and businesses. We'll be seeking your input because you understand your communities best. And finally, together, we're going to find efficiencies and show respect for taxpayers and their hard-earned dollars. In a few moments, we're going to have the Ministers' Forum. They don't look nervous to me. They look good. And then after that, we're going to have the Ontario reception. But you are going to notice something a bit different this year. There's no buffet, because I was serious about respecting taxpayers' dollars. So you probably aren't going to find any pulled pork sandwiches, but what you're going to find cabinet ministers who want to meet you, who want to talk to you, and who want to listen to you. And I think that's very important, because this government believes that whether you're from a rural community or from a big city, you need ministers and government members, and we've got lots of government members here today, who want to hear firsthand about the challenges you face. In conclusion, a few days ago when I was at home in Brockville, I was thinking about my time as the president of AMO. And I can remember writing to the Minister of Municipal Affairs. It was 1989, it was at the end of my term, and I was asking for more collaboration with AMO. I knew how important a relationship built on mutual respect between the province and municipalities was in 1989, and I know how important it is today. Our government wants to build a stronger relationship with municipalities, one that respects your role as the government closest to the people. A first step will be signing a new Memorandum of Understanding with AMO. The first MOU was created back in 2001, and I wrote to AMO in my first few weeks as minister to say I wanted a new one. So I'm proud to be here to sign this updated agreement today, a year before its renewal date. In 1982, I entered public life saying I want to take nothing for granted. I want to listen to people's concerns and dreams for the future. Years later, that's the same way I approach being an elected representative. None of us can take the taxpayers of Ontario for granted. They deserve our respect. And at every level of government, that means we need to work harder, we need to work smarter, we need to work more efficiently, and help make life better for the people in every part of this great province. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.